Today we'll take a look at the winner from one student organization's pageant, K-State's active shooter training with Air Force ROTC students, and the status on a suspended K-State football player.
Spring brings uncertainty for weather in Manhattan. Find out if you need your rain jacket or your sunglasses for the weekend later in the show.
This is KKSU-LD, broadcasting in high definition from Kansas State University, covering Manhattan, Riley County, and the Flint Hills. You're watching Channel 8 News.
Good morning and welcome to Channel 8 News. I'm Katie Fink.
And I'm Monica Diaz. A universal problem has been brought into the spotlight after K-State football player Hunter Rison was arrested and charged with 1 count of domestic battery and indefinitely suspended from the team.
Reporter Anna Christensen takes an in-depth look at domestic violence and its impact on victims.
For many people, a person they trust turning against them is a worst nightmare. But domestic abuse is a scarily frequent problem. This issue hits especially close to home for K-State student Abby Kerber.
I have friends who have been in abusive relationships, both emotionally and verbally, and even physically to some extent. And I've just seen the mental health effects that it's taken. In high school, I had a friend who had a boyfriend who just was like, I don't want you to see your friends, they're a bad influence on you. And he took away one of my best friends by doing that.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation reports over 20,000 yearly responses to domestic violence incidents with data up to 2017, keeping local law enforcement busy.
Every situation is different, but there are some common repetitive things throughout domestic abusers, like isolation of the individual, keeping them from family, friends, kind of watching what they do, who they talk to, when they do it, kind of having that control over them.
Unfortunately, domestic abuse is very common. In Kansas, for every group of 3 women, at least 1 has suffered at the hands of an intimate partner. Abuse is very common, so it's important to know the signs so you can look out and report when needed.
Changes in behavior, any bruises, lacerations on their body, and also feeling very uncomfortable when their partner isn't present, or saying, I'm not allowed to do that because so-and-so doesn't like it.
Resources are available for victims with local organizations like K-State Care and phone services like the National Domestic Violence Hotline.
So because I'm a part of Alpha Chi Omega, our philanthropy is domestic violence awareness. And one of the great things is we get to work locally with the Manhattan Crisis Center.
Today, Abby is an advocate for survivors of domestic abuse and encourages others to do the same. In Manhattan, I'm Anna Christensen, Channel 8 News.
To stay safe, it's important to keep an eye out for signs of abuse in friends and family and be ready to call emergency services if needed.
Over the weekend, the Hispanic American Leadership Organization, also known as HALO, hosted their 8th annual beauty pageant. This year's winner says she wants to use her platform and work alongside HALO to raise awareness about domestic violence.
This was the reaction junior Leslie Ramirez had after being crowned HALO's 2019 Belleza Latina.
It was such a surprise. I still kind of feel like crying, but I'm pretty sure I'm going to cry when I go home.
Although a surprise to her, Mocha Aguirre, the event coordinator, thinks otherwise.
I honestly think Leslie definitely deserved to win that, from the amount of dedication she put to this to the amount of hype she built for herself. You would just hear the roars for her whenever she came out on the stage. So I was really, really proud of everything that she did, and I think it was totally well deserved.
The choreographer also agrees and said she was very proud of what Leslie had accomplished.
She's like, I'm committing to this, so I'm going to do it full out, and it definitely showed.
Leslie says that she would like to dedicate this award to her mother and use her platform to raise awareness about domestic violence. She says that domestic violence has impacted her life, and she would like to help anyone going through a similar situation.
And now I get to put my platform out there, and next semester you guys will hear more about all the projects that I want to do dealing with helping victims of domestic violence, due to the fact that my mom was a victim herself. We suffered through that, and now I just want to make sure that everyone has the resources to get better and to know what to do once they finally get free of that situation.
In Manhattan, I'm Luis Villarreal, Channel 8 News.
If you would like to learn more information about HALO and Ramirez's prospects for next year, you can attend their meetings in the Leadership Building on the K-State campus every other Tuesday at 6 p.m.
Later today, Cats Against Sexual Violence will host a walk in support of sexual violence survivors. The walk starts at Holton Hall and carries on to Bosco Plaza. Reporter Molly Hackett is currently live outside Anderson Hall with Paige Eichhorn, the president of the organization.
Thanks, Monica. We're here live outside of Anderson Hall with Paige Eichhorn, the president against Wildcats Against Sexual Violence. Paige, can you tell us a little bit about your organization and what you do here on campus?
Yes, so our mission is to educate, advocate, and eradicate for sexual violence through giving survivors a voice and transforming our current rape culture into a culture of consent.
Now, Paige, what do you have planned here on campus today?
Today's our Wildcat Walk to End Sexual Violence from Holton Hall to Bosco Plaza. You can interact with different organizations like the Care Office, Counseling Services, Lafine, Cooper Allison's Exhale Project, and many more. On Bosco Plaza, Officer Anderson from K-State Police will be giving a presentation on how to use the Live Safe app for campus safety. You can enjoy Chick-fil-A, Good Sense, Pie 5, and enter to win our awesome giveaways.
Alrighty, and then Paige, why are you such a big advocate against sexual violence on K-State's campus?
I started this organization about a year ago because my freshman year I was raped in Haymaker Hall, and I wanted to connect with other survivors to give them a voice and also advocate for myself and my justice.
And then if there are students who come about the same issues that you had, where can they go to receive help here at K-State?
The first place I would go to is a trusted friend or a parent, and the Care Office is also a great resource. My advocate was such a great person and just an inspiration for me during the whole process, reporting to Office of Institutional Equity and Student Life, and those are two great places you can also go, as well as K-State Police, of course, and Riley County PD.
Alrighty, and then is there anything else you would like to add about your organization and what you're doing here?
Yes, we just hope to see you at Wildcat Walk to End Sexual Violence today, and we hope you take away a better understanding about changing rape culture on campus and giving survivors a voice. So,
well, that's all we have here. We'll be right back to you in the studio, Katie.
Thank you, Molly and Paige. Gunfire was heard last Thursday outside of Myers Hall on K-State's campus. Luckily, they were just blank rounds, a part of an active shooter training exercise led by K-State Police. Channel 8 News reporter Jason Clapp was there and brings this report.
Leo Dominguez is a cadet captain and acting safety officer who recently put together an active shooter protocol training known as ALICE. The training was coordinated between K-State Campus Police and ROTC cadets. Dominguez said that the purpose of organizing this training was to prepare officers and cadets for violent situations.
It was just a way of putting the cadets and K-State PD into different environments. They not only helped us prepare for that, but also how to react to every scenario.
ALICE, which stands for Alert, Lockdown, Inform, Counter, and Exit, teaches people how to properly react when there is an active shooter presence. The police conducted 3 different scenarios, which tested the cadets in their ALICE training. Campus Police POI Brad Millington said that if any situation like this were to happen, the important thing is to be prepared.
This training benefits the university police officers on how to respond to an active violence situation. It also benefits the students on how to react, if needed be, how to use the ALICE training to lock down and counter and all those different things that they're taught in the ALICE training. The one thing that they should take away is that we're prepared, how to respond, how to react, and train and be prepared for any incident. Hopefully it never happens, but be prepared just in case.
In Manhattan, I'm Jason Clapp for Channel 8 News.
Active shooter training is held each year on K-State's campus. Be sure to keep an eye out for it around this time next year.
Many students study abroad while in college, but one local high school student chose a different route. Plus, we'll have some tips for staying active while you're in college.
I was a little hesitant, but I took the time and I looked at it. I said, number one, this is Kansas State University. That's a solid name institution. That is a research institution. It's land grant. You're not going to get better than what Kansas State is and what Kansas State stands for.
And you can actually see it.
Come on, one more.
h1 minus h2 plus v1 squared minus v2 squared all over 2.
Manhattan High School has welcomed many foreign exchange students since the 1960s. This year, the MHS community has opened their doors to 8 more exchange students. Reporter Macy Burning has more.
High school can be a difficult time for many students, but what if a student traveled across the world to spend 11 months of his life in a foreign country? Andrea Zanetti, originally from Rome, Italy, has chosen just that path for his junior year of high school.
I decided I was a little worried, but when I came here, like, the town is not that bad, like, could be very worse. Like, I know other my friends are doing the same thing, and they're like in small town, they're like nothing, it's like nothing.
Many students here at Manhattan High School are very welcoming and supportive of the exchange students, and even welcome them into extracurricular activities. Host parents are also involved within the exchange students' culture by taking a course to learn about their home countries before the students arrive in Kansas.
Even faculty have hosted foreign exchange students in the past, like Principal Hoyt and Counselor Tony Wishman.
My son, my actual son, I have a junior here and so forth, said the world comes to us. We don't necessarily have to travel the world, so we get the exposure and understanding of different cultures with really having not to have to go outside of Kansas and so forth.
One of the most valuable things that host families and exchange students can get out of this program is the connections made during their stay and where those connections take them after they leave.
The one thing that really I don't like about AFS is or exchange programs is saying goodbye to them.
In Manhattan, Macy Burning, Channel 8 News.
Zendetti has until the middle of June to soak up the sun in America before he says goodbye to his Kansas family and returns to his home country of Italy.
Classes, reports, exams, social life, college students have a lot to focus on, and with so many things to juggle, it's important for students to stay healthy and get enough sleep to be well rested. Reporter Miriam Chamberlain offers some tips on health and wellness for college students.
While as an undergrad, Jana Ukuzenko took the responsibility of planning out her days to incorporate group fitness classes into her schedule. This increased her excitement and passion about fitness and health.
I started taking different classes like cycling and cardio kickboxing, and then I started getting into all these different things. So just finding one thing that you like and then kind of doing a little bit of research to see if there's something else you like. So it's just kind of evolved into a passion. Instead of it just being something I have to do for my health, it turned into something that I love. So I just really hope that's how other people find their health and wellness is something that they're passionate about and that they know it's a priority for them.
Being healthy is more than just being active. When a student is rested, memory recall, decision-making, critical thinking, and the ability to maintain concentration are improved.
Sleep health is a huge issue on this campus, actually. There were several surveys that went out from Levine Health Center that asked questions about sleep habits, and the results were just pretty negative. We're finding that students are maybe getting a few hours here and there. There's also a lot of factors that affect sleep, like your TV's on or you're on your phone right before you go to sleep.
Making sure your body gets the rest it needs is not just about the hours of sleep you get at night. Adequate sleep is essential to feeling awake and alert.
Try to make sure to make sleep a priority, but once again, it's more difficult to be like, oh, I have to get all this other stuff done, and then I also need to sleep. But I do try to make sure that I get at least 7.
Health and wellness is important, but as college students, we often forget what it takes to pursue that goal. In Manhattan, I'm Miriam Chamberlain for Channel 8 News.
Though it may be easy to think college students can function with less sleep because they're young, with proper sleep, they can turn those Z's into A's.
The current flu season across the country has lasted 21 weeks, making it the longest flu season in 10 years. So far, there's been more than 41 million flu cases that have caused around 30,000 to 57,000 deaths. Jean Dodonder, the Assistant Director of Levine Health Center, gives her take on the length of the flu season.
The Center for Disease Control, you anticipate that the average flu season in the United States is predominantly in fall and then peaks in winter. This year we did see an increase of cases that extended through late March, and so that was a little bit later.
We'll learn if thunderstorms could be on their way this weekend and then take a look at a new kind of therapy offered here in Manhattan.
I was a little hesitant, but I took the time and I looked at it. I said, number one, this is Kansas State University. That's a solid name institution that is a research institution. It's land grant. You're not going to get better than what Kansas State is and what Kansas State stands for.
And you can actually see it.
Come on, one more.
H1 minus H2 plus V1 squared minus V2 squared all over 2.
Fans, are you ready?
Spring seems to bring uncertain weather this time of year. Weather reporter Derek Darr has more on what to expect for the coming days. Derek?
Thanks, Katie. Over here in the East Coast, we have a cold front coming in, and we got temperatures in the low 60s. Down here in Texas, we got some severe weather over here with high 80 degrees, quite a warm temperature. So if you're traveling down there, make sure you're careful. And over on the West Coast, we have a temperature of low 60s. It was quite uncharacteristic for the region, and we got cold weather coming in. So that's our national weather. Then in Kansas, we got good weather all around. It's just really beautiful everywhere, high 60s to low 70s everywhere, pretty much across the state. It's quite beautiful outside, so even in Wichita and Topeka, it's more of the same. So make sure you take some advantage of that, get outside. And for the 24-hour agenda, we have partly cloudy of 71 degrees for the high. It's sunny and 49 degrees this morning. And if you plan on going out this evening, go out and make sure you bring an umbrella. It'll be 55. For the 5-day forecast, it's quite warm today. And it'll be sunny this weekend and windy, and it'll also be raining on Sunday, and it'll be thunderstorm on Monday, so make sure. We'll go back to Katie in the desk.
That's all for this week's weather. We now go live to Alec Madrigal at Prairie Salt Therapy in the West Loop Shopping Center.
I'm here at Prairie Salt Therapy, where I took a look at some of the new therapies and services offered by this local Manhattan health and wellness company. Prairie Salt Therapy is a new company that offers a unique form of therapy different from what people might be used to in Manhattan. One of the therapies the company offers is known as halo therapy, which is the practice of inhaling and exhaling salt-infused air in an open room. The patient sits in an orange-hued room and relaxes to the sound of Tibetan meditation music as the beach-like smell of salt is vaporized and pushed into the room through a machine. One of the owners, Wendy, says there are many benefits to this therapy.
Salt is a natural antibiotic, antiseptic, and antifungal, but it also has anti-inflammatory properties, so it helps clear out your nasal passages, gets that phlegm out of there. It also decreases the bacteria that's in there and makes you a little bit more resistant to allergens.
Make sure to check out the websites to check out all the different therapies they offer. Now back to Katie at the studio.
Thank you, Alec. K-State student athletes come from all over the world. We'll take a look at how some of their journeys are different. Plus, a statement from head football coach Chris Kleiman regarding a suspended player.
I was a little hesitant, but I took the time and I looked at it. I said, number one, this is Kansas State University. That's a solid name institution that is a research institution. It's land grant. You're not going to get better than what Kansas State is and what Kansas State stands for.
And you can actually see it.
Come on, one more.
H1 minus H2 plus V1 squared minus V2 squared all over 2.
Fans, are you ready?
KSU's many international athletes and dedicated athletic managers help make the university's athletic culture unique.
That story is coming up. Also, a K-State wide receiver was arrested on suspicion of domestic battery this past weekend. Sports reporter Luis Villarreal has the story.
Kansas State wide receiver Hunter Ryson is out on bond today after being arrested on one account of domestic battery on Friday. Ryson will appear in Riley County District Court on Thursday, May 1st. In response to the arrest, head football coach Chris Kleiman released a brief statement announcing that Ryson had been indefinitely suspended for violation of the team and departmental policy, adding, "Our program will be one that is built on hard work and integrity and doing things the right way." He ended the statement saying, "We have extremely high expectations for our players on and off the field." Kleiman will have no further comment at the matter at this time. In the weeks prior to his arrest, Ryson played in the spring showcase where he expressed his excitement to play under new head coach Chris Kleiman. Following his arrest, Ryson released a statement on Twitter saying, "This will be my only response. I will continue to be myself, a man of God, as well as a great student athlete at this university. I have done nothing wrong." Proverbs 2:11. Channel 8 will have more updates as the case continues. For many student athletes, choosing college is a big commitment, but for others, it has taken a trip around the globe to pursue their academic and athletic endeavors. Channel 8 reporter Molly Hackett has more on these international students, athletes, and their journey to the Little Apple.
K-State is currently the home of close to 40 international student athletes from all over the world. While the transition to Manhattan was easy for some, it was very challenging for others.
Having the 18-hour time difference makes it pretty hard to talk to mum and dad and my sister and friends from home. That's probably the hardest thing, is just, being so far away from loved ones and friends.
In order to help these athletes feel like they have a sense of belonging, the K-State Athletics Department has worked really hard to develop a program called Global Cats. This program helps acclimate them to things that many people take for granted, such as how to dress for the weather, what foods they should eat, and address language barriers.
We really want to try to do everything we can to make them feel a part of our K-State family and to help their transition to K-State.
In order to do this, the K-State Global Cats has started not only an international night at Performance Table, but an international Thanksgiving dinner when all of the other students go home for the holidays. For students looking for help outside of the athletics department, they can come here to the International Student Center for more help on campus. Maria Linares, a member of the tennis team, has felt more than welcome since coming to K-State. This is not only because of the support that she has received, but because of the stability that Manhattan has provided.
Back home, we have a lot of problems, right now, economics, insecurity. So here, I feel more comfortable. I can walk in the street without any problem.
While it has been a transition for all of these athletes, the best part has been
openly engage about talking about different cultures and stuff.
In Manhattan, I'm Molly Hackett, Channel 8 News.
Thanks, Molly. While the season is over for the tennis team, track has the competition at the National Relay Championships this weekend in Fayetteville, Arkansas, before heading to the Big 12 and the NCAA Championships. On the field, fans can see K-State football players representing their team at Bill Snyder Family Stadium, but what they don't always get the chance to see is the people behind the players. From washing equipment to keeping track of more than 200 football helmets, athletic managers often have their work cut out for them. Football manager Jacob Letourneau is just one of the many managers that work behind the scenes for K-State football. After seeing his dreams of playing college football fall short, Letourneau says he wanted to find another way to support the team. The football team will be back on the field in August. That's all the time we have in sports. Back to you, Monica.
Thanks, Luis. Ryzen has his first court date next week. Students from various organizations are finding ways to get more involved in their environment and are encouraging others to do the same. We'll take a look after the break.
I was a little hesitant, but I took the time and I looked at it. I said, number one, this is Kansas State University. That's a solid name institution that is a research institution. It's land grant. You're not going to get better than what Kansas State is and what Kansas State stands for.
And you can actually see it.
Come on, one more.
H1 minus H2 plus V1 squared minus V2 squared all over 2.
K-State fans, are you ready?
Students at Kansas State University are getting more involved with their environment. Many student-run organizations met in Bosco Plaza Monday in coordination with Earth Day to showcase how they are benefiting the community. One social media movement called #TrashTagMHK is challenging young people to take environmental cleaning into their own hands. Students for Environmental Action were out spreading their message of environmental sustainability and urging Kansas State students to get involved.
I think it's important for students to be the voice of our generation and to promote sustainability. I think that we are very motivated, not just academically, but also socially, and we promote justice on campus, so I think we make a pretty big impact.
All right, well, it looks like we can kind of do some stuff after Earth Day, even though it's past. Maybe plant some flowers, go enjoy the Kanza, or go do something outdoors this upcoming weekend, right?
Definitely. I think I will be taking my dog to the dog park, and I will make sure if I see any trash to go ahead and throw it away. That's all we have for today. Thank you, guys.
See you next week.
This is Channel 8 News.